One of the big projects that is on the to-do list for this spring/summer is building a new koi pond in the backyard. And one of the big components for that project came in today. It was finally delivered. We had a bit of a delay on what I'm going to show you here in a little bit. And so we can finally continue on. I need this. We can finally continue on with this project. It was, I think, last year we had Amanda's parents were downsizing their pond, and they gave Boss Man, I think, 9 or 10 larger goldfish that he then put into the little backyard stream that we had. And I had built that, I don't know how many years ago. But anyway, those goldfish had more goldfish, and Boss Man kind of took a liking to the whole idea of fish being in the backyard. Before, when we had the little stream, it was for like toads and frogs, and we never really thought we'd end up with fish. Yet, here we are. Anyhow, we have progressed along. I'm going to show you here our progress, and then we've got two things we need to do today. We are going to be rolling out some underlayment put down underneath the liner, and this is what we were waiting on. This is a big piece of rubber liner that is going to go in the bottom of that. I will let you leave your guesses down below as to what this white PVC piping laying on the ground is for. It is not for the pond. So the liner is 25 by 50. And hopefully that is going to be, we measured it out, and I'm pretty sure that is the size that we need. Because what I want to do is I want to have one continuous liner from the front of the pond all the way back to the very beginning where the waterfall is going to be. So there's going to be a little stream up there that feeds down into this pond. And you may not be able to really tell the different elevations here on camera, but we have a step down. We have a little shelf there. We have another shelf that drops down about 6 inches or so. So we have that, and then we have this shelf here, and then this drops down into the deep end down here, which is probably, I don't know, 3.5 deep, 3.5 feet deep. And then on the other side, there's another little shelf that we're going to build out with some stone. And on the back side here, this is going to be, so this shelf here is where the rock is going to end up being like the foundation for the waterfall that will be right here, spilling into the pond. And again, this is going to be a little stream that at the very back of that pile of dirt is where the waterfall is going to start. When I built the other little stream, I used 3 different liners to kind of, and pieced them together. So I ended up having to like bond the liners together and create a seam, and it was a pain in the butt. And so for this project, I decided to just get one continuous liner, a huge liner going from the front to the back, all the way down the line. Now the underlayment that we're going to be putting down, it's just a good idea to do that anytime you have like a liner on the ground, because things like these roots could end up puncturing the liner. We do have also, we are fortunate enough to have in our soil stuff like this. And that. And this right here. There's pieces of glass. Here's another one. Stuff like this too. There's just broken glass all over our soil. There's also stuff like this. We dug this stuff out. There's metal, there's spikes, there's nails, all kinds of that stuff was in this dirt. So, good idea to put down something underneath the liner. If you happen to find this video because you were looking at tips and tricks and ways to build a pond in your backyard, I am no expert. I've only done this a few times. So I'm just going off of what I have experienced and what I have kind of learned and studied and found from other sources. So I don't know if you should necessarily use me as a source of information of how to do things, but so just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there. So again, just to go over kind of a high level, what's going to happen is we're going to have the waterfall there. It's going to feed into a couple different elevation and pools of this little stream. This stream is going to spill over into this pond, and then we kind of have this deeper channel in the center of it, because back in that corner will be the skimmer, which will then pump the water, or pull the water in, and there'll be a pump that'll send through a tube all the way back up to the waterfall, the water. So I'm thinking with the waterfall being here, creating some flow into that deeper pool, and then the skimmer on that end pulling the water in. It should keep, leaves and everything off the surface of the water, and it should also, with the waterfall going in here, it should help stir up any debris and fish poop and all that fun stuff. Should eventually get sucked into the skimmer, which will then pump the water back up through the waterfall filter and just down the line. Round and around it shall go. All right, Boss Man has got the underlayment ready to roll out. And I'm already guessing that this is probably not going to be enough, but we'll see how it goes. The main thing we want to do today is I want to just get that put down, and I want to get the liner put in from the, I guess, this end of the pond up until right before the waterfall. Because we are going to do this kind of in two sections. So we're going to build this pond first, and then from here back we'll build the waterfall and the stream later. So that'll be like phase 2. Well, that went about how I expected it. Unrolled it the wrong way, and then had to reposition it, and then had to reposition it again because I realized that it was going to be easier to unfold it from the halfway point back to the front here. So yeah, but that's the way it goes sometimes with these big liners. So we have it positioned and laid out. And what I meant by the halfway point, so I was thinking we could unroll it here and then just unroll it down the line with the underlayment in there, but we unrolled it and it was the wrong way. So we had to reposition it, turn it around, flip it over, and then what we ended up doing was unrolling it from the center point this way. So as we unrolled it, we'd put a sheet of underlayment down, and then we just kept unrolling it back this way. And then once we had that done, we kind of tampered it all out. So the liner is in and formed. Now we have some old underlayment from the stream that we're going to put down here on the bottom, and then we're going to start setting some stones. All right, so day one of the koi pond build is coming to an end. We've got a good start. So there is what we have gotten done so far. We have this back bottom wall in the deep end put in, and almost up to the first shelf where we're going to have the bigger rock to form the waterfall. So a good little bit of progress made here on day one. Got the liner laid out, got some rock brought over. And the one cool thing, just a little side note here on the design, I guess, of this. So the one thing is, if you look at this, you kind of notice it's like a little mini, well, it's like a smaller ring that also resembles, if we look over here, the bigger pond or recreation pond slash pool. So this one we built from an old silo pit. So we've got like a little half circle, a little crescent shape with the stone there, and then that's going to carry through and be replicated to a certain degree over here on this pond. So hopefully it'll turn out looking kind of cool when you step back and are looking at this from up here on the deck. Let me just zoom in so you'll be able to, so we've kind of got that crescent shape there, and then the crescent shape in the pond here. I mean, that'll all be below water, so I don't know if it'll really matter, but there it is. Liner was about as much of a challenge as I thought it was going to be, getting it all laid out, but it ended up working out. And now we will continue, hopefully, over the next few days. We've got a river rock being delivered for the bottom of it. That's being delivered hopefully tomorrow or the next day. And then some other medium to medium-sized boulders that we're going to use kind of around the other parts of the walls. So the big summer project is underway, finally. We did the excavating early on, just because someone, little man, or not little anymore, I guess boss man, was eager to get started. So we dug everything out, and then we had to wait to get the liner. And now that we've got the liner in, hopefully the rest of it we'll be able to continue working on it and finish this up, wrap it up, hopefully fairly soon. And hopefully it doesn't drag out all summer long.